Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. This is Dr. Carmen Bryant, Overcoming Narcissist Abuse, Car Chronicles. Ready? Let's do this. So you guys know this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I think to the 15th, but Domestic Violence Month. So, you know, the color's purple, but we're going to come up with the color for narcissist abuse. But I wanted to give you guys some tidbits, some nuggets from my mentor. She said this a few weeks ago, and she's always dropping good nuggets. I just pulled this out because I wanted you guys to hear this. What she said is what you tolerate, you cannot change. Now, keep in mind, you cannot change a narcissist whatsoever. It's not going to happen. And too many people jump into a relationship or situationship with them, and you're assuming that they're going to change. Even now, being out of it, you're assuming that if I change myself, then they will change. But what you tolerate, you cannot change. She also said that, let me just add this back together, okay? What you tolerate, you cannot change. And some of you tolerate entirely too much. And what you tolerate, you're giving the other person permission to keep doing. So some of you guys are tolerating stuff for whatever reason, you know, because I don't want to be lonely, because I have children by this individual, because of whatever the reason is, whatever the justification is. Now, I understand that some of you guys say, well, I don't have anywhere to go. Trust me, where there's a will, there's a way. Tina Turner left Ike Turner, and she had nothing but a few cents in her pocket. But what she had was her name. So she understood the value of the name that she had so that she can restart and start all over again. So some of you guys have to understand that when you tolerate abuse, when you tolerate disrespect, when you tolerate, you are giving the other person permission to keep doing what they're doing. So you're telling them, go ahead. You have literally come into agreement with the other person. So you're tolerating it and you're giving them permission, and you are in agreement with what they are doing to you. Even though in your mind, you're saying, I don't agree to this abuse. But you staying there, you are tolerating it, and you're giving them permission to keep doing what they're doing. That's why some people you have to cut off. Family members, children, narcissistic or narcissist relationships, meaning like love interest or baby daddies, mamas, baby mamas, you know, but you have to make up in your mind. Yeah, you love them, but you don't sit there and tolerate nonsense. You know, I left, and when I left, that was about what? Almost 10 years ago. I stopped tolerating nonsense. I stopped tolerating because throughout my entire situationship with this individual, they did the exact same thing over and over again. It wasn't something new. It wasn't something like I didn't expect it to happen. So every time something happened, I acted surprised. I don't even know why I acted surprised. That was the person's character. That's what they were doing. And I stopped tolerating it. And once I stopped tolerating, my body started to heal. And that's another thing I want to talk about. For some of you guys, you're going through somatic issues in your body to a point where doctors can't even find what is wrong with you. Now go to part 2. Let me talk about that. All right, this is Dr. Carmen Bryant, Car Chronicles, and this is you tolerating too much. Narcissist abuse. You're tolerating too much. This is part 2. Go to part 1 so you can see what I was talking about in part 1. So in part 1, I was just repeating something that my mentor said. There's a lot of things she said, dropping some nuggets. And what she said was, from part 1, is that most of you tolerate entirely too much. When you tolerate abuse or when you tolerate things, you're giving the other person permission to do what they're doing. And so when you tolerate, you're in agreement with what they're doing. And you have to stop tolerating everything that people do. And what I was saying is that even in tolerating, when you make a decision to leave the abuse, verbal abuse, psychological abuse, and what I said is that I tolerated it for 20 some odd years, but in almost 10 years ago, when I came out of agreement with tolerating it, and I wasn't surprised. I don't even know why I acted surprised, because it was a cycle. It was on the dot. Every few months, they're going to do the exact same thing over and over again. And finally, I made a decision to stop tolerating nonsense, stop tolerating abuse, stop tolerating narcissist abuse. I didn't know it was narcissist abuse at the time, but I stopped tolerating it. And my body started to heal again. And it's been almost 10 years and I'm still recovering from the trauma I went through for 20 some odd years. Because some of you guys know that after you leave the abuse, you still got to deal with the court. You still got to deal with the slander. You still got to deal with the babies, the children. You still got to deal with the new supply, you know, the side chick, whoever it is that became the primary. So you're still going through trauma. So your body's still going through trauma. And so what I wanted to express in this one, part 2, is your body will start to heal. When you stay in a situation in which you're being abused or misused, or some of you guys are physically abused, psychologically abused, your body actually responds physiologically. So some traumatic wounds, some traumatic effects, they manifest physiologically, medically. Some of you are going to the doctor and you're finding out things about your body and they cannot find anything wrong with your body. It's called somatic disorders, somatoform, somatic disorders. Some of you even convergent disorders. Go look those two disorders up, where your body, they cannot find anything wrong with you. There's nothing physically, medically wrong with you because it's a psychological disorder. And some people get upset, "Oh, you telling me it's all in my head?" Because you literally feel it in your body. I felt it in my body. Some of you are feeling it in your body. You're overweight. You got hemorrhoids. You got steroids or whatever it is. Anything you could think of with the roid on it. You got gastrointestinal issues. You got acid reflux. You got, big stomachs. You got, headaches, migraines, neurological issues, fibromyalgia, fibroid issues. All that stuff come from somewhere. Stress kills, and they're killing you from the inside out. You got to learn how to get out.